A big story tonight. This monsoon has seen some devastating landslides, even flash floods in Himachal Pradesh. But the latest landslide in Himachal's Kinnaur has now left 11 people dead and close to 30 people trapped under debris as rescue workers of the Indo-Tibetan border police now race against time.
At least 11 people have been killed when this landslide in Kinnaur district in Himachal Pradesh struck a bus and several other vehicles. A government-operated bus carrying over 40 passengers was on its way from Kinnaur to Shimla. At least 13 people have been rescued as Army, NDRF, ITBP and officials of police and local administration carry out the rescue work.
मेडिकल की हमारी टीम्स, हमारे जो और भी लाइफ सेविंग ड्रग्स हैं, साथ ही साथ और भी जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स है वहाँ पर रेस्क्यू एंड रिलीफ की, वो सारी तैयारियाँ हमारी तरफ से वहाँ पर कर ली गई हैं. जैसे ही शूटिंग स्टोन्स के गिरने का सिलसिला समाप्त होगा, हमें लगता है कि हम रश कर पाएंगे. ऐसी सूचना है कि लगभग 40 लोग वहाँ दबे हो सकते हैं, जिनको निकालने के लिए आईटीबीपी की टीम्स लगातार कोशिश कर रही हैं.
Expressing his concern over the incident, Chief Minister Jairam Thakur shared that the central government was monitoring the situation and all efforts are being taken for the rescue operations.
आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का भी फोन आया था, उन्होंने भी पूरी जानकारी फोन पर ली है और केंद्र से जो भी मदद आपको चाहिए प्रदेश को, आप हमको बताइए, जब भी चाहिए जो वो मदद करें.
As per a report shared in the State Assembly, heavy rains and floods have so far claimed 222 lives, 12 people are missing and destroyed over 1,100 houses and cowsheds this monsoon. Today's landslide is the fourth in recent weeks in the Himalayas, including one in neighbouring Uttarakhand. Experts say that scant regard to environmental laws is responsible, and this sort of tragedy is what a new UN climate change report projected will happen more frequently with warming temperatures. With Mohammad Ghazali, Joshua Chin for NDTV.
A dismal Lok Sabha session that saw just 22% productivity came to an abrupt end today as Speaker Om Birla adjourned the lower house indefinitely. After hours of protests and daily disruptions of both houses of parliament and acrimonious scenes, the smiles on the faces of the leaders who gathered in the speaker's room after the session wrapped up seemed somewhat incongruous. An estimated 130 crores or more of public money has been wasted because of the disruptions.
The Prime Minister, Congress President Sonia Gandhi with the Lok Sabha Speaker shortly after the session was wrapped up this morning, 2 days early. The opposition parties stuck to their protest over the Pegasus phone hacking scandal and the farm laws, and both the government and opposition parties blaming each other for the logjam. The Prime Minister attended the Lok Sabha for the second time this session for a few minutes.
सभा की कार्रवाई अनिश्चित काल के लिए स्थगित की जाती है. यही पहली बार सदन के अंदर प्रधानमंत्री जी को आज देखा है. जब सारे कुछ खत्म हो चुके हैं, प्रधानमंत्री जी सदन में पधारे थे. धड़ल्ले से सरकार ने सारे विधेयकों को एक के बाद एक पारित करते चले गए और सदन में कोई चर्चा नहीं हुई. बगैर ओबीसी मसला कोई चर्चा नहीं हुई.
20 bills have been passed in Lok Sabha in the monsoon session. 19 bills passed without discussion. Only the OBC bill was passed unanimously after over 5 hours of discussion. OBC bill will empower states to draw their own OBC lists. Out of 96 hours, House functioned for only 21 hours and 14 minutes. Just 22% productivity, lowest in the 17th Lok Sabha.
ये बात सही है कि 17वीं लोकसभा का छठा सत्र कामकाज की दृष्टि से अपेक्षा के अनुरूप नहीं हुआ. मेरी कोशिश थी कि सदन चलना चाहिए, लेकिन संपूर्ण प्रयास करने के बाद भी सदन नहीं चला. इससे निश्चित रूप से मुझे वेदना है.
Sources say after the lower house was adjourned, the speaker held this meeting with the leaders of all parties, urging them to cooperate with the functioning of the house in future. The upper house too was no different. Rajya Sabha chairman Venkaiah Naidu turned emotional while criticizing the conduct of some opposition MPs who were standing on the tables throwing rule books on Tuesday.
I rise in deep anguish to place on record the way this august house is being subjected to sacrilege and that too propelled by a sense of competition among some sections of the House since the commencement of this monsoon session. When some members sat on the table, some others climbed on the table of the House. I have no words to convey my anguish and to condemn such acts.
Like the lower house, the opposition parties cooperated with the government in passing the constitutional amendment bill on OBC in the upper house too.
The bill is passed.
In a show of strength, the opposition parties have planned for a protest in Parliament on Thursday against government for passing the bills without discussion and muzzling their voice inside the Parliament. With camera person Sanjay Kaushik, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
The Rajya Sabha was also adjourned sine die this evening. With that, the monsoon session of Parliament has come to an end. The Rajya Sabha, for its part, recorded 28% productivity in this session. The House passed 19 bills. 17 sittings were held in the House that functioned for just 28 hours and 21 minutes. The government's move to end retrospective tax is the undoing of a past mistake, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said today while addressing the top industry body, the CII. Asking industry to increase its appetite for risk, he said his government had demonstrated that tough decisions were now possible. He also spoke about India's youth power and its immense possibilities.
भारत के पास ग्रोथ के असाधारण अवसर उपलब्ध हैं, ट्रिमेंडस स्कोप उपलब्ध है। ये सब मुश्किल फैसले आज मुमकिन हो रहे हैं क्योंकि देश अपने प्राइवेट सेक्टर पर, आप सभी पर भरोसा करता है। अभी हाल में हमने अतीत की गलतियों को सुधारते हुए रिट्रोस्पेक्टिव टैक्सेशन को भी समाप्त करने का निर्णय लिया है। इस फैसले की इंडस्ट्री में जिस तरह से सराहना हो रही है, मुझे विश्वास है इससे इंडस्ट्री और गवर्नमेंट के बीच विश्वास और मजबूत होगा। साथियों, आज देश में वो सरकार है जो राष्ट्र हित में बड़े से बड़ा रिस्क उठाने के लिए तैयार है। इस आत्मविश्वास को हम हर सेक्टर में देख रहे हैं। अभी हाल ही आपने ओलंपिक्स के मैदान में इसे अनुभव किया है। आज भारत के युवा जब मैदान में उतरते हैं तो उनमें मन में वो हिचक नहीं होती, वो मेहनत करना चाहते हैं, वो रिस्क लेना चाहते हैं, वे नतीजे लाना चाहते हैं। यस, वी बिलोंग टू दिस प्लेस, ये भाव आज हम अपने युवाओं में देख रहे हैं।
Meanwhile, Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh, in a meeting with Prime Minister Modi, has requested him to start the process of withdrawing the controversial farm laws against which farmers have been protesting for a year. The Punjab Chief Minister also asked Mr. Modi to amend the relevant law for including farmers in the free legal aid category. He handed over 2 separate letters asking for this. Independence Day for Maharashtra will see more freedoms across the state as the government announces sweeping new relaxations. Mumbai's Lifeline, its suburban train network and malls will be open for the fully vaccinated from the 15th of August. 200 people will be allowed to gather at weddings. Restaurants can stay open till 10 p.m. at night. However, the Chief Minister is yet to take a call on reopening schools. Purva gets us details.
At the cabinet meeting today, several decisions were taken on further relaxations. Now you can say that across Maharashtra, more and more relaxations are being given. However, the final notification and the detailed SOP is yet to come. But let me also take you through what all the decisions that the cabinet took. The bigger demand from the hotel and the restaurant association was to allow them to remain open till 10 p.m. That has been accepted. Also, the malls will now remain open till 10 p.m. but only fully vaccinated people can enter malls. So it is mall owners, responsibility to check for the vaccine certificate and only allow those who are fully vaccinated to enter the mall. That is about the mall. Also, as far as the schools are concerned, now that is something that the task force says that they are not in favor of opening schools. So tonight, CM along with the school department and the task force will once again have a meeting and decide whether they would want to open schools or not, because the school education department in fact had taken the decision that from August 17 the schools will open in Maharashtra, but that is now put on hold and CM will finally take a decision. And as far as other relaxations are concerned, well, the marriage halls are now allowed to function with more people, with 100 people indoors and 200 people if it is outdoors. Then malls are open, hotels, shops are going to remain open till 10 p.m. However, cinema halls and theatres and places of worship are still going to remain closed. But a final notification is yet to come in. A detailed SOP is expected, and that will be released shortly.
The centre has flagged Uttar Pradesh as a state of concern over the R value, or the reproductive rate of the coronavirus, the rate at which an infected person can transmit to others. The R value in India's most populated state is over 1. Cases are likely increasing, is what the centre has warned. Uttar Pradesh is currently reporting low infections and high vaccinations, but the government says it must be cautious moving ahead.
Despite an advisory from the centre, big crowds across Uttar Pradesh, especially at religious places and mostly without masks. Now the centre has flagged a bigger worry. India's most populous state has a R value, or coronavirus reproduction number, above 1, meaning each person with COVID is infecting at least one more person. This at a time when cases are low. UP reported just 20 fresh cases on Tuesday and has a little over 500 active cases. Despite the centre flagging COVID concerns in UP just 24 hours ago, the UP government issued a press release today saying it would relax the state's stringent weekend curfew imposed during the devastating second wave. The government says there is no reduction in COVID testing either. 2 lakh plus samples are still being processed each day, but it is not clear how many of these are gold standard RT-PCR tests. Going ahead, the government says the focus of COVID vaccination will be on second doses. Less than 4% of UP's population have been fully vaccinated, compared to 10% across India.
पहली डोज के बाद ये देखा जा रहा है कि जिनकी दूसरी डोज ड्यू हो रही है वो लोग आगे समय से बिल्कुल नहीं आ रहे हैं। प्रदेश में शनिवार को जो टीकाकरण होगा कोविड का, उस दिन केवल दूसरी डोज लगाई जाएगी।
A detailed note on COVID issued by the UP government today did not make any mention of the centre's concerns, but said that things are under control in the state. No fresh COVID cases have been reported in 59 of the state's 75 districts in the last 24 hours. In Lucknow, with camera person Rajesh Gupta, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
And that's the news for now. Keep watching NDTV 24/7 for all the latest.